Hi, I'm Julie Wilkinson and I'm the owner and founder of Wilkinson Accounting Solutions. Today I'm going to look at hurdles that you might come across if you're looking at buying owner-operator businesses. So there's a lot of talk in the acquisition industry about buying a job, not an asset. That's because the key challenge for owner-operated businesses is often the owner who's also working the business is paying themselves, say, dividends, but there isn't actually enough profit to cover those dividends. So when an investor comes in to buy that business, they want to pay you, but they also want a return for success. Now, I actually have done a podcast with Della Kirkman where she actually actively went and bought a job because she didn't feel comfortable going and buying a multi-million-pound business that was already fully run, and she then built that business up to then sell it. So there's nothing wrong with buying owner-operated businesses. I would say probably 90% of businesses selling in the UK are probably owner-operated because they're not really set up to exit. But there do become hurdles when you're buying. So apart from the fact of the requirement to pay the owner, so what that means is, if that owner is working in it and that owner doesn't want to stay on forever, then who is going to do that job? Which is why when we look at adjusted EBITDAs, owner dividends shouldn't be removed from the equation, because ultimately, even though they might pay themselves a dividend, that dividend is a remuneration for the job that they're doing in the business. So what you've got to look at is, what role does that owner play, and are they being paid a commercial salary for that job, and is that commercial salary being reported in their profit and loss as part of their average profits for when you're valuing the business. Then when you come to transition in post-acquisition, things we see within the acquisition space with what cause challenges after acquisition will be employee mindset. So often the owner can be getting involved in a lot more of the problems than maybe they think they are throughout the due diligence process. So the deal closes, even though the owner's still involved, it could not be as much of the level as it was previously, and then operations drop because the owner was a lot more involved in keeping the operations ticking over more than maybe they thought they were. So it's not always about the sellers necessarily lying in the due diligence process, but maybe they just don't know it. And I have seen, and I would say probably in about 85% of post-acquisitions, operations do drop. One, maybe because of fear for employees. Employees might leave because they're scared of what this new owner might do. And also then the previous owner being more involved, and those processes aren't in place post-acquisition. That means you need good deferrals in your acquisition agreement or payments, which is why a lot of people bring out earn-out clauses for acquisitions, meaning that the actual sale payments are based on certain targets agreed with the seller at the time of purchase, and also the cash flow of the business. So if you're trying to rush through due diligence, which I do see a lot of buyers trying to do, that they're not always doing full financial due diligence fully. What is the cash flow contingency in the business after acquisition? What we tend to find is for these no money down deals that a lot of people are trying to do, which is great, because yes, you can theoretically buy a business through funding and through seller financing of the deal, but what happens for the contingency just to run that business operation? So sort of things that could happen, people could leave and you need to pay recruitment agencies to get new staff in. You now have to pay back a loan that the business didn't have prior. So does the business have cash flow to pay that loan? Potentially you're also, not only are you paying the loan back and you're paying the deal, you could also be paying the previous owner. So now that could be additional salary that's in the business that wasn't there before, because you're also paying for the deal. What will the sales pipeline do of that deal when there's noise in the industry that the business has been sold? Was the business built around the owner? Was the reputation built around the owner? And can that cause post-acquisitions issues? Now, all of these things you can get over, you can get through them. But what I think the key thing is have you got the cash flow contingency to allow for certain things to go wrong? Because nothing is going to be 100% the same after a new owner comes in. it's very unlikely because there's going to be unsettling in that business through employees, customers, suppliers, and cash flow is usually tighter because there's now deferrals to pay back, there's a loan to pay back, and also, now you might be having to pay the owner if they're staying on as a wage now, or consultancy, whatever the deal flow is. So I think owner-operator businesses, a lot of the UK market being sold are owner-operated. And so there are a lot of deals going through, but you just have to be mindful of how that owner-operator can transition post-acquisition once the new acquirer owns it. Look forward to seeing you soon.